Hello everyone, welcome to my channel on understanding finance and sports. Today's episode is on sports agents. So let's start by defining or checking what exactly is a sports agent. So a sports agent could be an individual who's working on his own as a sports agent, or he could be part of a professional sports agency, a sports management company where he's part of a group of sports agents who are working for that sports management company. Now, the sports agent is hired and paid for by the professional athlete in order to manage certain aspects of the athlete's business and his professional career. And the sports agent works with and for the athlete to increase the income of the athlete and the value of the athlete's brand in the market. Effectively, he becomes the athlete's business manager, and as his business manager, he represents the athlete and has authority to speak on behalf of the athlete on business matters to third parties. In order to do this, the sports agent has to be very, very knowledgeable about the sports that he is dealing with, and effectively he has to know all the business angles and business aspects of that sport if he is going to be doing his job properly. He is usually a lawyer, but not necessarily, but he has to be very experienced in negotiating athletes' legal contracts, employment contracts, as well as endorsement contracts. And in order to do this, he has to be an extremely good negotiator and a communicator, both sides, because obviously if he is going to negotiate, he has to effectively try and close the deal in the best interest of his athlete. So why does a professional athlete need a sports agent? Well, for a start, professional athletes are very busy training, traveling, and playing. They also earn a lot of money, millions of dollars. They are also not usually business savvy. They are sports stars, not financial experts. They are also not aware of all the business opportunities that there are out there for investing their money. They therefore need help to manage their business affairs. They have lack of expertise, they don't have the time, and therefore they need help. They need someone trustworthy to deal with a whole host of their business issues. That leaves the athletes with the time to train and play without being worried about business matters, knowing that their professional business interests are being dealt with by someone who they trust. Someone who will invest their money wisely and also plan for when the athlete is no longer playing. This is important. An athlete's life is short compared to other professions. In order, therefore, to sustain yourself after your career on the field has finished, you need to have an income after you effectively retire from the field. And the sports agent also professionally markets the athlete's brand and exploits business opportunities that are out there for that athlete. So how does the sports agent fulfill his role? What exactly is his role then? It's guidance to the athlete on all business and money matters. So effectively, he handles the business side of the athlete's business. He handles all business transactions. He is the athlete's legal representative. And part of his mandate is to increase the income sources for that athlete. He tries to maximize the income that that athlete is making. He therefore plays a part in negotiating employment contracts for that athlete, the team that that athlete plays for professionally. He markets the athlete, and as a result of that marketing, he tries to get the athlete into sponsorship and advertising deals and endorsement contracts. He arranges for appearances by that athlete at various events and shows. He performs all the athlete's legal duties and will step in case there's a dispute between the athlete and his club, or the athlete and his sponsor, or effectively any third party. He manages the finances of the athlete and recommends investments to make, whether in a business or in some other venture. Some sports agencies also file the athlete's tax returns, and so it takes that headache off the athlete's table as well. They normally manage the athlete's PR and public relations. Athletes are public interest persons. They are mentioned in the media. They can come in for criticism, and therefore they receive a lot of mail, and therefore the sports agent can handle all that side of the business. He deals with all the press inquiries, including managing negative situations, negative press. He arranges for the athlete's media appearances in order to enhance the athlete's brand. He arranges interviews for that athlete with, let's say, prestigious magazines or on TV, effectively guiding the athlete's career. He can also get involved in personal matters of the athlete as a friend and confidant of the athlete. He spends so much time with the athlete that effectively a lot of sports agents become personal friends and confidants. In order to do that, you have to effectively be on call 24/7. And also sometimes get involved in making personal arrangements for the athletes, such as arranging their booking their holidays, taking them shopping, and a lot of personal things. It's a lot of sacrifice of personal time by the sports agent. We'll now look at a list of Forbes top sports agencies in 2019. Top of their list was the Creative Artists Agency, CAA. They specialize in basketball, football, hockey, baseball, and soccer. And in 2019, they signed contracts worth $10.6 billion on behalf of their athletes. That is a phenomenal amount of money. And as a result, they earned commissions of $414 million in 2019. That's a lot of money. Wasserman was in second place on Forbes' list with contracts signed worth $4.2 billion and commissions of $209 million. Number 3 was Excel Sports Management, specializing in basketball, baseball, and golf. Contracts of $3.6 billion were signed in 2019, and they earned commissions of $172 million. And if I just simply scroll down the rest, at number 10 was Independent Sports and Entertainment, who signed contracts of $1.3 billion, and they earned commissions of $76 million. That is a very, very impressive list. Let's look at the Forbes list of top sports agents in 2019. The individuals, many of whom work for the companies that we just spoke about. Top of the Forbes list was Jonathan Burnett of the Stellar Group, Scott Boras of the Boras Corporation, George Mendes of Gestifute. And I'll just scroll down the list. You can find this on the net, the Forbes list of top sports agents in 2019. Now, how much do sports agents charge? How much do they earn? Well, for a start, they're all on commission basis. That's the usual mode of remuneration for a sports agent. And it's therefore in the agent's interest to get maximum value for his client. So the higher the deal negotiated, the higher is going to be the sports agent's fee. And therefore, the athlete and the sports agent will try and get maximum value. If there is a playing contract being negotiated, then in that case, the fee is normally 4 to 10% of the value of the contract. And if it's a sponsorship or endorsement contract, then the value is normally between 10 and 20% of the value of that contract. So it's fairly substantial. Just a couple of notes as we are discussing sports agents. Sports agents search the market for talent from a very early age, sometimes starting from kids who are 15 years old, who obviously are showing a lot of potential. They then guide their careers and start preparing the players for the first professional draft, which normally takes place when this talented kid is 18 years old. So they start scouring the country for talent, and they want to represent those kids who they think will ultimately make it as professional athletes, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, soccer. There are also many incidents of agents manipulating athletes, ranging from investment scams to outright theft of a player's money, and there is growing consensus for reform and regulation. This is again a very sad aspect of the relationship between a professional athlete and his money manager. The professional athlete leaves everything regarding business, contracts, negotiations, finances, investments to his sports agent, effectively his business manager. Some people say that he is actually the athlete's CEO. And therefore, it's very, very important that whoever the athlete picks and chooses to represent him has got to be absolutely trustworthy, and he has the best interest of the athlete at his heart. Very important. There are many, many cases out there of agents who have taken advantage of their athletes, and those athletes eventually may have even gone bankrupt because the agent has mismanaged their funds or even stolen them. Some famous athletes and their sports agents. Serena Williams uses Jill Smoller to represent her. Cristiano Ronaldo has George Mendes. Lionel Messi has his dad, George Messi. And George Messi has been representing his son, Messi Jr., from the age of 13. And I believe he is quite a tough negotiator. And when you talk about trust, there is no one who you can trust more probably than your parents. And therefore, I'm sure George Messi is extracting the best possible deal that he can get for his son, Lionel. Tiger Woods, Mark Steinberg has been using him for a very, very long time, and so on. The Indian cricketer Virat Kohli uses a gentleman by the name of Bunty Sajde. Roger Federer, Tony Godsick. Lewis Hamilton uses the William Morris Endeavour Agency. The William Morris Endeavour Agency took over IMG about 4 or 5 years ago. So you can see that all these really superstars all have agents to represent them on the business side. So that's all, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope to see you again soon. All the best. Bye bye. This is Faisal signing out.